This time round, the Chamwada report comes to you from the land of 1,000 hills, Rwanda. In 1994, Rwanda experienced the worst of times. But 25 years later, Rwanda is rising.
We know that the future of Africa lies in infrastructure.
So what are some of the lessons that we can learn from Rwanda?
The national dialogue is what we can see, the president talking to the ministers, to the population, and finding out what went wrong.
Uganda, this is a national activity that we do, literally meaning community work.
They call it a car free day, whereby a certain kind of route, one of the routes is free of cars, so people can do all sorts of exercise.
Recently, a number of African countries gathered in Kigali, Rwanda, to discuss the future of infrastructure development in Africa. And something that was coming out very strongly is that Africa can do better when it comes to infrastructure development and public works. Here are the highlights of that particular conference. At Kigali Convention Center, captains of industry convened for the 5th International Conference on Infrastructure and Public Works. It was a two-day conference held in December 2018. Discussions here focused on how to foster African economic growth in the face of infrastructural challenges.
The idea is to ensure that we collaborate, that we share our ideas.
Linda Afinkwasi is the chief convener. She explains why the infrastructure development talks could not have come at a better time.
We can see that Africa is rising, and we can see that there's a lot of interest from abroad, from European nation, Asian nation towards Africa as far as infrastructure are concerned. And it's important for us to showcase that we have those infrastructure. We also have the talent for the people to also invest into these sectors, and also the private sectors that are local to have an understanding of why people are coming across our borders to invest in our countries for infrastructure, and see how best we can negotiate those different tenders so we can have a win-win situation for all Africans. We know that the future of Africa lies in infrastructure. Therefore, it's important that we ensure that we know what's needed, we know where the gaps are, and we also find partners, African partners, to ensure that we work together.
China, you get what you want from them. If you want an infrastructure, you get an infrastructure. If you want an easy money, you get an easy money. If you really want to transfer technology, you would get a transfer technology. Because I could tell you, across the continent, some countries like Nigeria, for example, they're using Chinese money very wisely in a way where we get the money, but they make sure that the project being financed is a project that could repay that debt. But most importantly, they make sure that the transfer technology is there. I think what we need to know is what do we want from China? Because China knows exactly what they need from us. The question is, what do we need from China? Number one. Number two is, I don't have a problem with us using Chinese money, but we have to be very smart in the way we're using it. Meaning, let's make sure that the project that we are financing, that's not a piece of infrastructure is the most important thing, but let's look at how to repay that debt.
China, we cannot wish away. China has money at the moment. But before China, there were other countries, other nations that were strong and that were funding Africa. So when we look at China, we shouldn't look at China with a negative perspective. We should look at what is in for us as Africans, what is in for China, and that's where we need to strike the balance.